how I learned to stop burning star charts and love astronomy. Now there's a tale that brings a grin to my dragon snout. Sit close, young stargazers, for today I'll share with you how I, Zoran the wise and occasionally impatient dragon, learned the delicate art of star chart reading and astronomy, instead of, well, setting them aflame in fits of frustration. The start of my fiery journey. You might think that an ancient dragon like me, who's seen galaxies swirl and planets align, would take to astronomy like a fish to water. But truth be told, my first attempts at studying the stars were a bit fiery, to say the least. You see, long ago, I was not the cool, composed dragon you see before you. Oh no, back then, I was filled with a boundless energy. A spark that quite literally had me spitting flames at every chart that dared defy my understanding. I remember the very first star chart I attempted to read. There I was, perched atop my favorite mountain. The night sky spread before me like a jeweler's velvet cloth, scattered with gems. I had my newly inked chart, full of cryptic symbols, lines crisscrossing in strange patterns, planets and stars marked with names like Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. This should be easy, I thought, confident as a dragon can be. After all, I had scales tougher than steel, wisdom passed down through ages, and a flame hotter than any furnace. But the stars had other plans for me. The troublesome tale of Taurus. Let me tell you about Taurus, the bull constellation, which taught me my first humbling lesson. I squinted at the chart, tracing the shape of Taurus with a claw, trying to understand the message it held for me. They said it was a sign of strength and patience, a grounded energy. But as I looked up into the sky and back down at my chart, none of it seemed to make sense. I'd been told Taurus was reliable, slow to anger, a symbol of stability, but my chart, and the ball in the sky, only seemed to provoke an impatient fire within me. So, what did I do? Well, I'm not proud of it, but in a burst of dragon-sized frustration, I incinerated that star chart with a single puff. That night, the mountain air smelled of burnt parchment and stubborn pride. Meeting the star sage, it was then, as I mourned the ashes of my chart, that I heard a chuckle, and from the shadows emerged an old sage, someone who seemed to know a thing or two about the stars, judging by the celestial robe and glimmer in his eye. Young dragon, he said, his voice warm with a hint of mischief. You have the fire, but you lack the patience of the stars. I snorted, more amused than offended. What would a little human know about the frustrations of a dragon? He laughed and motioned to the sky. The stars have much to teach, but they require time. Even the fastest comet doesn't race the night sky, it glides, leaving a trail of light and wonder. Perhaps if you'd listen to the stars, they might reveal their secrets willingly, without needing to be singed. And so, under that twinkling night sky, I sat with the sage, listening to his stories of the constellations, of planets and their movements, of how each pattern held meaning. He taught me the art of patience, and more importantly, the art of observation. He showed me that Taurus's strength was not in brute force, but in its steadfastness, its quiet resilience. This, I would soon learn, was a trait I could use in my own journey of understanding the cosmos. Learning to love the sky. With the sage's guidance, I began to see the sky not as a puzzle to conquer, but as a symphony to appreciate. He taught me that the stars were more than symbols on a chart. They were companions in the vast night, each with its own story, each patiently waiting for me to listen. When I asked him about Mars, he told me of courage and action, but also of passion and risk. When I inquired about Venus, he spoke of beauty, love, and harmony, but also of learning balance. And when we came to the mysteries of Rahu and Ketu, he told me tales of shadow and light, of the lessons hidden in our own uncharted depths. With each lesson, I found myself becoming less frustrated, more curious. I began to see each constellation not as an abstract shape, but as a friend, a guide. I learned that Orion the Hunter, a constellation of great strength, reminded me to pursue knowledge with purpose. The Pleiades, those 7 sisters, reminded me of harmony and unity, of how every star shines best when it shines alongside others. The day I put down my flame, one night, as the sage, and I was studying the stars in the southern sky, I caught sight of a comet streaking across the heavens, leaving a glowing tail that shimmered like dragon's fire. It was breathtaking, and for the first time, I didn't feel the need to conquer the knowledge of it. I simply watched, enchanted by its dance, grateful for the sight. The sage turned to me with a knowing smile. You see, Zoran, the stars do not ask for mastery. They ask only for respect, for the humility to understand that some mysteries are to be admired, not conquered. From that night onward, I let go of the urge to burn every confusing chart. Instead, I embraced the mystery, learning from each star, each planet, each constellation, as if they were dear old friends. And wouldn't you know it, the more patient I became, the more the stars revealed themselves to me, passing on the love of astronomy. Now, dear listeners, I share these stories with you not to boast of my fiery days or my newfound calm, but to remind you that even a dragon must learn patience. The stars, the planets, the great dance of the cosmos, they are not here for us to control. They are here to guide us, to light our path. If only we are willing to look up and listen. And so, I no longer burn star charts. Instead, I treat them as maps for the soul, a guide to the grand mysteries we all walk through together. Whether you are a human, an owl, a fox, or even a dragon, remember this: the stars speak to all who listen, who wait, who wonder. So next time you see a constellation or find yourself puzzled by the planets, don't reach for fire. Instead, look a little closer, listen a little longer. Who knows? Perhaps one day, you too will come to love the stars, not as a mystery to solve, but as a friend to cherish.